Aloha. Aloha. I'm Mikkel Anna, coming to you live from the Big Island. It is raining today, so I'm here inside amidst the white background. And today we're going to do something a little different. I thought I would share just a little bit of tools to kind of give a framework for many of the meditations that are found on my channel and that are there to help you peel away the layers. So this is kind of a little overview on peeling away the layers, tools to free yourself and truly live the life you want to live and embody the love, happiness, joy, freedom, abundance that we all want to have in our lives. So much of what I'm sharing with you is really just comes from my own personal journey of peeling away the layers. And then as well as I've been in the healing arts the last 22 years. So yes, let's get right into it. So bottom line, we got body, mind, and spirit. And so what I'm going to share with you is kind of one system, one way to do it. There are many. I'm not saying this is the only way to get there, to rise up the mountain. This is just one way. And it's really about with the premise, we'll start with the premise that you are a divine being of light and that all beings have the divine God spark within them and that we're each a soul on a journey having karmic ties, moving through lessons, etc., and over many lifetimes. And here we are now, and we have all of these things that have maybe come upon us, and basically our job is to pull them away and reveal the perfect, brilliant, divine God energy that you already are, that each of us is. And so one way to do that is to recognize that these are programs. So this is just one way to speak about it, right? So we're going to refer to these things as programs. Now, how do these programs get here? They get here through wounding, through trauma. They get here because of somewhere we were hurt, and this all makes sense to us, and we create a protection that basically is protecting us. So it becomes like a wall that we put up, right? So we put up these various walls to protect ourselves, which is well-intentioned. It seems like the good thing to do. And something like perhaps, let's give an example. If as a child, your mother never thought what you did was good enough and you showed her something and then she would say, well, you didn't do this and gave you a criticism. You over and over again, that sets in this, you feel like I'm not good enough. I'm not seen. She doesn't think I'm of value. So that program that wound creates the program that defends it, right? Well, I didn't care what she thought anyway. Doesn't matter to me. Or, well, you might say, well, I can never do a good enough job. Or we might go into it and beat ourselves up. Or we may create some other way of defending ourselves. So you can see that you create it in a way to protect yourself. Now, how do you know when these programs are running? You know when you don't feel good. So really, we either feel good or we don't feel good. And when we don't feel good, we feel anger, frustration, anxiety, worry, a myriad of different emotions, but all of them don't feel good. So when we don't feel good, right then, when you don't feel good, your energy changes. You can feel it. That person said something, I don't feel good. Right then, if you're able to walk away, put your hands on your body and go, okay, what's going on? Why don't I feel good? What's really happening for me here? What is it I'm experiencing? And if you're being real and honest with yourself, and so this goes into another piece of this, so we're talking about the programs, we're going to jump into inner child. So there's you right now, and then there's you in here who's still a little girl or a little boy. And is literally time is not of a value. That reactionary emotional feeling we feel is still coming from our 7-year-old or our 6-year-old or our 10-year-old or what have you. So we're creating a relationship, and this is really important. It's creating a relationship with your inner child, recognizing, okay, what's really going on. And you as the higher self, as the person that's conscious and knows that you're amazing and wonderful and fabulous and capable, can sit with that inner child, say, hey, what's going on? Oh, you're feeling like you're not good enough because that's actually this wound of feeling criticized. And that's why I'm reacting when my colleague is giving me a constructive critique about my work. And I can say, wow, that's what's really going on. Now I can give myself what I need and say, hey, little girl, I love you. I see you. I value you. You are good enough. I'm capable. We got this. We got this together. I got you. So now you've given the little girl what she needs. So you can now refer to your current situation knowing I am good enough. And this person's actually just offering constructive things to help me get better. Because without my defensiveness, I can see that, oh, there's nothing to defend against here. This isn't my mother critiquing me. This is totally something else. And so then you're able to see the situation in the present moment for what it is instead of engaging the old program. The old program would have told you to defend, right? Oh, whatever, whatever. But if you can stop right then, stop, figure that out. And then you would be able to say, thanks, Bob, or thanks, Susie, for that incredible, input. I was so appreciative with no energy or charge because it's not hitting a wound that makes you feel less than or incapable or, depending on the wound, right? So that's what wounds and programs kind of are. Our inner child is the door to us healing our wounds. We can actually go through, and there are meditations on my channel. There's one on releasing trauma and triggers, working with your inner child, and that takes you into meditation to kind of do that kind of work with yourself. You're leading yourself, you're watching yourself. In these places, the most important thing is to not get drawn in, right? You're watching it as a movie. So when you are working at memories, if you have deep trauma, it may be helpful to work with a practitioner, a therapist, somebody that can help you to do that. Or you can utilize working on your own. If you can go in, see the past or see whatever you need to see, look at it like a movie without getting pulled inward into the emotion, and then heal it. So you're doing that process. So that gets into a whole process, but you get the gist, right? So that's just to give you kind of what that's about, inner child work. So I think that's a really valuable and important part to becoming free, to really feeling empowered and living in your highest and best self on a day-to-day basis. So that's number one. So then the programs, as we kind of talked about, so that's kind of our spirit, energetic essence, is working with this inner child, the energy that we're feeling around something. Then we work with the mind, which is that stalking of the programs, right? So it's that catching of it right in the moment, and then choosing to make it different by making a conscious effort, a conscious choice to reprogram. So you can think of this as being similar if you've ever been in the country. I live in the country. And in the country, we have a lot of driveways that are dirt, rutted out driveways. And your truck will literally just kunk and you in the drive. And you literally have to pull your truck up, kind of balance on top of that road and create a new pathway. So this is what's also happening in your brain. And in order to get that new driveway, you've got to do that like hundreds of times, right? It's got to be again and again. It takes a while to flatten it all out. So that's what you're doing in your brain. So on a mind level, when once you've healed the energetics, you still have to do the conscious work of reprogramming the mind. We've grooved neural pathways, right? So we need to groove new pathways, and that takes time and conscious stalking of the mind. So that stalking of the mind is that catching that moment when you don't feel good, and then choosing to see where it's coming from, giving yourself what you need. And you can also do that in the form of mantras, right? Positive affirmations, and then you're able to shift it. Okay, so that's the mind part of that. And then the body is a big part of that, right? So we also need to be sweating. Sweat, release toxins out of our body. And we want to put good things in your body. So that's a nutrient-rich diet that's usually more alkalizing than acidic. We want, protein and greens is always great. Your body, every body is different, right? So please, of course, eat how you want to eat. I do have some great thoughts on nutrition. If you want to hear more about what I do or what I think is really of value, there's whole systems of nutrition that I follow. And I found it to be quite transformative. So if you'd like to learn more about that, the health component, please reach out to me. You can drop a comment down below, or you can also email me or reach out on Facebook. Okay, so my email is michelleannalove@gmail.com. So yes, health is important. And for those of you who don't know, I also greatly engage in dance as a teacher and as a performer. And dance has changed my life as well. It's been one of the huge factors in growth for me, as far as it's moving meditation, and it's a way to drop out of the world, to get in yourself, to be fully present. And presence is the key, right? Got to be here now. And so the body health, being active, sweating, dancing, moving, all of these things, it's actually multi-leveled there, because you're moving, you're engaging in your mind, you're engaging in yourself, you're being present now, you're releasing toxins, you're actually becoming smarter, because you're in dance, you're making left right brain connections through choreography, your body's doing different things at different times, you're creating muscle, you're becoming stronger. Strength also makes us feel more empowered. The more we can navigate in this body vessel, the more flexibility we have, right? It's all kind of metaphoric. If we feel good within us, things start to feel good outside of us. So the ultimate goal is that we do positive things to create love, health, happiness, and joy right here, right now, within your body, spirit, mind vessel. This is the one thing you have complete and utter control over. It is really the only task that's asked of us, is to know thyself. And so these are some, to me, pillars of knowing thyself. And why do you want to know yourself? Well, because through the door of knowing thyself and pulling off all these things, you see that you are a divine, creative, amazing being. And it changes how we see life and what we want to be seeing it as we choose to embrace, we choose to reach in. And if each of us were to connect to ourselves, and then connect to one another, and connect to nature, our environment, and live in this balanced, harmonious relationship with those things, imagine the possibilities. So it starts with each of us doing our own inner work. And that is all that's really asked, right? Is for us to do the work here and now, to love ourselves and to forgive oneself. And that's a secret, because that's the key. Forgive yourself for everything. Forgive everyone else for everything. It does not mean you don't still see the story. It does not mean it makes things right. Forgiveness is about letting go, letting God, right? It's about seeing that we're all children, and we're all children of the infinite, and we're all just running around with our wounds, trying to figure it out, like 5-year-olds who, aggravate each other and push each other's buttons, and we fight and get upset and run. And so that's kind of what we're doing. We've just got all these wounds, and we just bounce and trigger one another. And if we were to pull all those away, then we are able to just really be with one another. And you've heard me say this before, perhaps, but then we can sit at the table together. As if I'm on a whole being and I love myself, and I'm willing to love and be in cooperation with you, and you come to the table in that same energy, then we are of one unified mind of cooperative effort. And then we're all choosing to rise together and choosing to make decisions that benefit all of us as the greater good and as a whole. And that's what this knowingness, that we are indeed one. We are part of the same fabric of energy, life force, all that is. And so that is a small overview. It's been about 15 minutes. I should probably stop. So body, mind, and spirit. A few tools to begin working with. If you, again, quick overview, meditations, daily, great work. Go within. That's where all the answers are. And especially right now with everything out there. So focus. Let's just focus here and create, right? Because as we release ourselves from these wounds, we will not see them reflected outwardly as we are. We're creating our current reality together. We're all part of this, right? So we're all creating what's going on in our world. And so if we can do our parts to heal it, then we can look outside of ourselves and see a more healed place as well. So daily actions towards positivity, towards love, reach in, reach in, reach in. Okay. Much love to you all. I would like to also encourage you all. The solstice is this weekend. Summer is here. There are a number of things going on this weekend as well. And so I would just ask that we all stand and hold infinite prayer over the weekend. Spend, 30 minutes a day just in meditation, really envisioning love and the planet and all of us together, and all of us really engaging in our highest and best selves, all of us finding truth, love, peace, harmony, compassion within, so that we can share it and lift each other up. So I thank you for being here. Yes, together we rise. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know if you have questions. If you want to reach out about help, let me know. And be well. Be here now. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Bye-bye.